Hello, hello, and good morning, and welcome to your favorite Star Wars chat show, Coffee Chat. This is O.G.Starwars, your Legends girl, and we are going to talk about the comic series Emissaries to Malastare. Blah. Yeah, so good morning, Stig. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I'm relaxed on my back on the couch like a slob.
A sloth. Let's just say I like the word sloth and slob. So you're just
Yeah.
kicking back like a sloth and just moving slowly today. How about that?
I'm balanced on the couch
You're
like a proper
bouncing, you're
Jedi.
planking on the couch, laying on your back, right? So you're kind of like planking, but reverse planking and lying there, right?
Yeah, I'm just meditating.
Yeah, Kenobi's meditating on the couch right now. Yes. Okay. So I am glad that you are very relaxed while we are, gonna, get into our talk about the Star Wars lore and, the comic series. It's a six-series comic. You know, um, Emissaries to Malastare, and we're also going to talk about the planet and all the lore associated to it. And so this is going to be fun. Again, we're going to keep in the same style we did last coffee chat and bring up the comic and go through it as well. Talk about the art and talk about the scenes, individual scenes, and what's going on and stuff. Very fun. But let's go ahead and see who is in the chat right now. We did have Defenders of Faith, Hail, Hello, that popped in early before we came on. And then Lady Tauriel. I know you corrected me on this one, Stieg.
Oh, you got it right this time. It's Lady Tauriel.
There we go. All right. That's important. I know
She's
how it is.
everyone's favorite elf.
Yes. I know how it is to have a name butchered because my name is spelled different and pronounced different. I will answer to Laura, but it's Alora. A
You know,
L
she
A R H
she
A.
always sticks a four-leaf clover on her post. So where does she find them? She must have a lot of luck.
She does. She is one lucky lady. All right. And then Kupi Malik is, I'm guessing that's how you say it. Again, I apologize if I ruin that. And again, the very important question I ask is what are you enjoying? What type of beverage are you enjoying? What's in your mug? And this is my mug today. It's yeah. So it's a little
Pass,
bit
but
ass but it's a little bit sassy today, as I am a little bit
you,
sassy.
you should have a you should have a crack in the cup.
You think, right? But then it'd be a problem to drink. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Excuse me. All right. Drinks the last pot of coffee, I imagine. Iced coffee in hand. Awesome. That is a great iced coffee is really good as well.
Sounds cool.
Doesn't it? Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, Darth, I can't even read. Darth Haster, hello, how are you doing? And welcome to my channel, O.G.Starwars, and our, show every Thursday. We talk about the original lore, George Lucas era of Star Wars. Once in a great while, I will announce like some kind of news that's pertaining to the main characters that we realize, oh shit, they're damaging it, and we'll tear it apart. But more than likely, we just talk about the heart of Star Wars, and that's the George Lucas era of Star Wars. Hello, Jedi Padawan, Jedi Padawan Trayla. Hello, darling. How are you doing? Zakarat, hello. Let's see here. Awesome. Got coffee. Nice. And so please share and cheers to everybody this morning, 9 a.m. where I'm at. Stig, what time are you again? I should get this right, but I don't. I know you're like 9 hours ahead. So,
It's 6 p.m. Damn it!
okay, damn it. Okay, you have your coffee too. And you guys let me know. Have you guys read the comics Emissaries to Malastare? Are you guys familiar with it? If you are, then as we go through it, you can add what you like about it and participate. If not, then you can ask questions still, and then I hope this encourages you to pick them up and read them. That's the whole point of this. Sean Featherstone, hello. It's 5 p.m. here, and I just got back from work, so it's the first real drink of the day for me. Well, awesome. I hope you had a good day at work. And he says, I used to get called Jaime a lot because it's spelled the Spanish way. Howdy, iced tea. Good morning, Keck. All right. I used to catch the replays. Thank you so much for, doing that. All you guys are awesome for the support. And I do appreciate you guys. And he's over here. You're like too relaxed over there, aren't you, Stig? Too relaxed.
Yeah. If I fall asleep, just mute me.
Oh my God. Well, we'll have someone clip you snoring.
I don't snore.
People don't think they snore, but because you don't hear yourself.
I sleep like an angel.
Yeah.
Made of flowers.
Stig is in the future. Are you in the future, Stig? Oh yeah, because you're ahead of me. That's right. He's ahead of us. He's in the future. All right. Like 20 years ago, don't remember much. Awesome. Well, you came to the right place to revamp your interest and get back into the comic and into the lore. All right, Miss Martin Muses. Hello, darling. I should bring you in.
She's at work.
Yeah, she probably is. I think she did say that she was returning now. And, so. All right, so let's go ahead and bring up the comic. Let's check this out. So here it is.
She's in the kitchen making me a lot of sandwiches, so she's busy for a couple of hours.
A lot of sandwiches, huh?
Yep.
Okay, Stig, what is your favorite type of sandwich?
Any that I don't make myself.
Okay, so you don't have, as long as someone feeds you and it tastes good, you don't have a preference.
Yep, I'm a very simple fellow.
Okay, good. Awesome. All right.
As long as it doesn't have olives on it. If it's olives on it, I'm killing a person.
You don't like olives?
No.
Wow, okay. All right. So everybody in the chat, go ahead and like and hit that like button and share this on Twitter. Let them know that their favorite coffee chat EU lore talk show is on right now. Have them come join in. We are getting ready to go over this comic and also, the lore behind it. We will talk about Malastare, the planet, as well. They are on Coruscant, but because Coruscant is, basically well known, we decided to basically talk about Malastare. So let's get to this.
Yeah, I think the plan is to talk about the planet that is the most in focus of said story.
Exactly. And so we have Malastare here, and it is where is it in the lore here, or like in the galaxy? So let's see here. So what do you know about Malastare?
They have pod racing.
Yeah.
and it's the home of the Gran species.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know what that is, it's the three-eyed aliens that you see briefly in the movies.
Yeah. So this planet is in the mid-rim, and so when I made the thumbnail to this, I try to position the planet, even though it's bigger than the galaxy or whatever. I try to position exactly near where it's at. And so the trade routes is the dusting trace, the hiding way. So it's in the hiding way trade route as well as the expansion. And Stig already gave us the species, and we'll, get more about what's going on Malastare as well as we get through the comic. And so, I mean, it's a very interesting planet. So, of course, you see it, it's like, it's green. It's got, a few water, lakes and stuff, water, beds, I guess you could say there. And so
it's like our planet, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe like the same climate as Spain, maybe something like that.
It also has desert difference because Asherad Het, you know, he's, and we'll get into this more, but he, you know, he comes from a desert planet, so he's not really adapted to space and to other planet climates and stuff, and so he's having a hard time adapting physically, and he wants to go back into the desert just to have some familiarity, and so we'll get into that some more as well. So let's check this out. So here's the front cover here, and I thought this was really, really nice how they did this, the contrast, you know, the use of the sabers, and you'll notice that, you know, there are use of red sabers in here, even though there's Jedi. So
Yeah, well, that's because Usher had red crystals.
mm-hmm.
That's it. So,
Mm-hmm.
according to Disney, lightsabers just change color based on the person wielding it now, pretty much.
Yeah.
And in some cases, on your affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're expelled from the Jedi Order, your lightsaber goes white.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. The lightsaber shouldn't pay attention to what memberships you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's ridiculous and stuff, but you know, we are here, and they have a good established lore here when it comes to sabers and stuff. We even know that in the lore, you know, Leia's one of her first saber is a crimson red as well. And
Also, his red lightsaber is foreshadowing.
yeah. Yeah. If you guys know the lore, you may know what it's foreshadowing as well. So we have Het
Cool
here.
detail. I didn't notice this. He has teeth attached to the lightsaber hilt.
Oh dang, I didn't see that. Yes, kind of, you know, and look at it's like, okay, so like as a native, I'm like, oh, thinking, oh, that's pretty cool because, you know, some of the men wear like styled necklaces that has like the bear claws or teeth or whatever, you know, with
Yeah.
the beads and the hides, and this is what it reminisces, and so it goes back to the tribe he belongs to in the Tusken Raiders.
I'm guessing those are womp rat teeth.
Maybe, huh?
Still, it's a very cool detail.
It is.
Really keeps with this identity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did not notice that when I first read it, but yeah,
Yeah.
kudos to whoever came up with that. It's great.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Great. I didn't even catch that. I reviewed this last night, the whole 6 comics and stuff, and so I didn't even catch that. So great catch, you know. So very good, Steak. Very good. All
Yeah,
right.
Lord Vader. I know Darth Vader bleeds the crystal, but it's still retarded.
Yeah, that's the new lore, the bleeding of the crystal. Huh?
Yeah, lightsabers bleed now apparently because they have
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah. They totally like switched around about these crystals and stuff. And now, you know, like in the original lore with lightsabers, like you have Seagull, she's calamari. She uses a pearl from her planet as her crystal.
Yeah.
And you know, so as long as there's a way to tune that jewel or whatever you're using to the force to use as a lightsaber, then it can be used, and only force users can do that.
Yeah, Christopher Borkus says Jedi having red lightsabers, breaking of the stereotypes. Yes, kind of, but the reason why the Sith have red lightsabers in the Lucas lore is because they simply had access to red ones. They did not have access to the regular ones.
Yeah.
The red ones were mostly found in the Outer Rim and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why the Tusken Raider Jedi has a red one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it kind of became like a symbol of the Sith though later, but it doesn't do anything if extra if the lightsaber is green, blue, or red. It's just a color.
Yeah. It's just a color. There's nothing significant color other than if you get into like the factions, but just because you're part of these factions within the order doesn't mean that you have to have that color crystal like the Jedi Guardians. And I have to finish up my lore videos on that. Again, I apologize for not having you this week. I had technical difficulties with my laptop, and so I wasn't able to do anything. But you know, like Guardians, their sabers are blue. Consulars, theirs are green, but not everybody in those factions, and even sentients, those are supposed to be like a yellow, but not everybody in the faction truly carried those. But those were the common colors. But
Yes,
that's
just like a it's like a basic guideline, but you're not you know, nobody's
mhm.
gonna get pissed if you don't follow it.
Yeah.
Because if you have a blue crystal and you like it, you're allowed to use it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So yeah, so that the crystal, how the crystals are being used in the new lore has completely changed. And like I said, you know, Leia had a red lightsaber for her first saber, and then Luke had a red Shoto saber in Legacy of the Force, not yeah, Legacy of the Force series, fighting against Lumaya. And then you know, we know the Sith, they particularly like the red because it distinguished them from the Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's traditional but optional.
Exactly. Again, like the Jedi's, it's traditional but optional within what we just talked about with, you know, the factions within the order. So let's go on. That was a nice little chat and rant about sabers. And so we have the Dark Jedi or the Dark Lady here. And if you followed us last week, our last coffee chat, she was in the comics then. And so she has a significant story for the Hets and for some of the Jedi as well. So Stig really likes her character. So go ahead and you know, talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah, she got introduced in the last comic. She was Kiadi Mundi's
Mm-hmm.
master, so she trained him, did a great job. But she was also Aura Singh's
Mm-hmm.
master, and that did not go so well. And in this comic, you kind of might figure out why,
Mm-hmm.
because she's very harsh. She's not your traditional Jedi,
No,
and
she's
Aura Singh in the Lucas canon was force sensitive.
yeah,
Filoni didn't bother to read up on that. So all of a sudden in the Clone Wars, she's not force sensitive yet. Clone Wars is supposed to be canon along with the comics and novels.
yeah.
So plot hole. But yeah, she's an interesting character, and yeah, she's harsh, very
She is.
harsh.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page here. And so she engages in a fight with Asherad Het, and she really, really just lays it into him and pushes him to his edge. And he keeps reciting the Jedi code to keep himself calm and stuff, and she keeps testing him. But how she tests him is very, very harsh, like Stig said. And she even encourages, not encourages, but tests his faith and hate levels as well. And she's not very orthodox when it comes to training. And you know, even Mace Windu calls it out. So we have them engaging in the fight here.
Yeah, she's almost going Palpatine on him, trying to goad him into giving into the dark side during the
Exactly.
training, which is interesting.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I thought too. I was like, holy crap, because when I was reading this, I was like getting some Palpatine flashbacks about, you know, how he was pushing Anakin and seducing him to the dark side. So that's very
Yeah,
reminiscent to that.
yeah, and she's
And
using it as training, which in a sense could be good training because it toughens them up uh,
Mhm.
considerably. But yeah, this is one of his first training sessions as a Jedi, so maybe go a bit easy on him.
Mhm. Yeah. And the thing here too is she says, and I think it's in the next page, I'm not sure, but she also says, or as they stop their dueling, she says that, you know, we can't trust anybody to be our friend. Whoops. And there is now the Sith have returned, so we need to prepare the Jedi for this. And so her thinking is the way she's training and how she is goading him and everything is her way of preparing, you know, that this Padawan to confront a Sith, because they will use that same verbiage, and that's what I got from this.
Oh yes, and you're spot on. It is
Mm-hmm.
what she's doing, but at first glance, she seems almost like a very bad teacher.
Yeah, yeah, she does. And so we have them fighting here, and she's giving some blows. He is holding his own. He is really holding his own. And, you know, he has both his father, Sherrod, and his lightsaber, his own lightsaber here. And she does address how, you know, she senses the pride in him for his father and for their heritage as being Tuscans and as well as being Jedi. And she asks him, well, what are you right now? Are you Jedi? Are you Tuscan? What do you associate with? And basically because he's not on the planet no more and he's not with his tribe, he can't claim Tuscan because, you know, he dismissed himself from his people.
Yeah, and
You
she's
know,
also probing him to try and figure the guy out. It's like
mm-hmm,
she doesn't really trust him because he
mm-hmm,
is a Tuscan, really, and
yeah.
she's also trying to get a measure of him.
Exactly. And so it's very this little duel here is very, very interesting. Her methods and how he's responding, how he has to what he needs to really identify himself as and make that step into that. And there's a lot of foreshadowing just in this little tiny duel that we see. A lot of foreshadowing for him. So I thought it was
And,
this is a great opening to this comics here.
maybe some foreshadowing for her as well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I'm not going to get into that because that's
Yeah, we
further
will.
down the line.
Yeah, we will, you know, once we get there, we'll talk more about it. So this is what I love about the original EEU is that it's so well constructed, especially these comics, and they tie, I mean, Stig, we're talking about this earlier, and you may have heard us talk about it before, is that everything ties in so beautifully. And if there's any type of misstep in the lore, it's, you know, retconned and corrected along the way as well.
Yeah, and
So,
if you think about if you compare it to the Disney lore, where everything was supposed to be equally canon with the movies, that's what they announced.
hmm.
Well, more than half of the books you can actually throw away now because they're contradicted by episode 9 and 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Palpatine, use my knowledge, I beg you. Don't continue to be a pawn on the Jedi Council. So there you go. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look further on this. Okay, so we are still stuck in the duel here. And right here, is he crying or is this his sweat? I was wondering about this on the very bottom.
No, it's sweat.
Okay. Because I
I
was
don't.
like,
I
he better
don't think
not be friggin' crying. It better be sweat.
Yeah, I hope he's crying. That would be even more fun. He's mean to me.
A woman
Make
made you cry.
yeah, make the bad woman go away.
She's a bully. Sorry, I had to. I was just like looking at that, and I was gonna message you last night when I was reading this, and I was gonna ask you, was he really crying here? What is this? You know, because his goggles are flooded.
Yeah, it's probably sweating.
Yeah, it probably is. I was just had to, you know, I had to pause and be like, what's going on here? Yeah. So we're going into the fight some more. And so he's reciting, you know, there's no passion, and he's responding here, there's serenity. And she goes on, you've gained power over me, Asherad Het, you are victorious. Why don't you finish here now? No one would blame you. You have every right to do so. Now, here we go. So this is very Palpatine. I've insulted you, doubted you, maligned your Tuscan honor. So she's goading him to finish her. It's kind of similar to what, Palpatine and his verbiage were. And this
Yeah,
is
and
what
she's actually being downright racist towards him.
yeah, she is. She is.
And
And look at her face.
then she just kicks him in the face, sends him flying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Star Wars didn't have competent women until 2015, eh?
I know, right? What is this? What are we seeing right here? What is this?
Yeah,
She's an old woman, but look how badass she is. Look at her. She's still fit. She's still, competent. Everything.
yeah.
Everything. She's wearing a dark cloak, for her own foreshadowing how she is, because she doesn't align with, she's not aligning with the Jedi training methods and the Jedi way. That's why, like, even Mace Windu, doubts who she is, or, and has questions her as well. And we have this right here. He's basically stopping her and, or stopping the duel.
I think Soul Assassin figured it out. He says he put his tears on his head to make it look like sweat.
Okay. Poor
I'm going to consider that canon. That's what happened.
Yeah. But what's very interesting is that even though we know the Hets and, Asherad is powerful or strong in the Force, we still see him fail. We see him get his ass kicked by her right here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, is that he's a Padawan. He's meeting someone who is stronger than him, and he doesn't beat her or defeat her. See the difference in the lore?
Yeah.
So here we go. So we have Mace basically like, this needs to stop. And he stops him. And so here we go with this. And again, this has some great comic art in here as well. But the last one we reviewed, Outlander, I really, really liked the art in that one. But this still has some pretty good art, and it's still really fun to look at. And as an artist myself, to geek out on the art here. So
usually when they start comic series, they tend to use the best artists from the early comics.
Yeah.
To get people hooked, and then they,
and then it goes downhill after that. No.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So if you are just joining, welcome to our talk show here on Star Wars Lore EU Coffee Chat. And share with me, what are you enjoying? What's your choice of beverage as we review and chat about the comic series here? We are talking about the Emissaries to Malastare, and it's a 6 comic series here, so we're reviewing that as well. So
they're making a good point in the chat that Filoni contradicted the novels and stuff, because Evan PL, the little one you see in the picture,
yeah,
he dies between episode 1 and 2. Which is why he's not on the council in episode 2, because George stuck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden he shows up in the Clone Wars. So yeah, well done, Filoni.
Yeah, and we know that George Lucas, had worked with or was involved between seasons 1 through 3 mostly, and then of course he had other jobs too, like he was filming what's it called, Red Tail Hawks and stuff. And so he kind of stepped back and put faith into Filoni on creating and keeping up with the Clone Wars. And so this is where we see the contradiction with that. Yes. Is there wasn't that care put into it that normally George does.
Yeah, as soon as season 3 ended and George started working on Red Tails, Filoni got more freedom, and that's when the problem started.
Exactly.
He was too busy watching wolf porn to read the lore.
You're like, wolf porn. This is what we get with a relaxed Stieg on the couch, All right. So,
Made a
so
howler. Sorry.
that's okay. So we have her bowing down to the masters here, paying respect. We have Asherad here, like really like pulling himself together, hurting, even though he said he's fine. He's sucking it up. He has his Gaddafi stick here as well. So I thought that was interesting that he had that with him still.
Yes, Lord Vader, and no Evan PL was in season 3, but George wasn't involved with every damn episode.
Exactly.
Because George stuck with PL's death when he made episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he also included a mention of Quinlan Voss from those very same comics and stories, and Ayla Secura, and plenty of others.
Yeah.
So George stuck to that. Filoni didn't.
Yeah. When it contradicts the movies, then there's a big, huge problem. So that's just my thought on that. So let's go ahead and we have a thank you so much. I don't have my phone in front of me, so I can't see the super sticker. But according to Christy, hello, darling. How are you doing? 149. Thank you so much. All right, and Jedi Luki, good morning. O.G.Starwars and Stig gonna be lurking as I am done doing some cleaning up, but I'll be here. Well, thank you so much for tuning in while you do your daily chores. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support, and my co-pilot here, Stig, does too. I just love having him now as my co-pilot for Coffee Chat. Who has a lot to lend to these talk about the lore. And so again, thank you so much for coming in. And let's see here. So we have people popping in. Let me see. Filoni baloney. Yeah. But you have blamed George too, Stig, because he was heavily involved with season 3.
Yeah, he obviously wasn't involved with this because George accepted that PL was dead, which is why he's not in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, George was not involved with that episode.
Yeah.
Otherwise, PL would not be in it.
And the thing is do we really know how much he was involved in seasons 1 through 3?
No, we don't. But we do know that Filoni left stuff out of the episodes he showed George, and when George approved it, Filoni put stuff back in that he knew George wouldn't approve of. There's a video of Filoni bragging about that.
Yeah.
He's on camera boasting about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was tricking George, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's from Filoni himself.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Off topic. How do you feel about this supposed idea of Force Unleashed 3 of Starkiller Vader teaming up cause Sidious thought of replacing Vader?
Starkiller won't even work in the new canon.
Yeah. And that would be just like a what if towards the Disney lore. And we always knew, even in the old lore, that, how the Sith work and always try and replace someone with someone else, as we see in the OT. Sidious wanted to replace Vader with Luke. So we always knew that he was always looking to replace, Vader with someone stronger. And Luke was the one. And so, but again, he used Vader as his tool as well. So it's a very tragic story, basically. Very tragic. Yeah, Stig does have a lot to learn. You have a lot to learn, Stig, according to Christy.
Well, I've learned that she's a swamp ass bitch. So there's
Lord.
that at least.
Oh my God. Okay.
Just because George was involved with season 3 doesn't mean he was involved with every word written in every episode.
Yeah. He was a very busy man. That's why he hired people to do stuff outside of like when he was creating the movies and stuff. And and there was also like, games being developed and all that other stuff going on as well. There's so much going on, and we cannot fathom how busy that man was and how much he entrusted other people to do some of his work.
Well, in any case, Filoni is not the topic of the stream motivator.
Exactly. And let's go back to what we came here for. We are comparing and contrasting on, some of these characters being misused in preview or in lore and how it's contradicting. And so now we're done with that topic. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we have, you know, Dark Woman basically is like, talking with the masters and everything seems settled down. And then she basically was like, "Are you okay, Sharad?" Asharad, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then she friggin' gives him another blow.
Yeah, she sucker punches him too.
Yes, look at that.
Yeah, she gets him to turn around and then just punches the heck out of his gut, and that has to be one hell of a punch as well, because that guy is fit.
Yes.
She just drops him like a sack.
Yes,
This lady is probably late 50s, early 60s.
Uh-huh. She is, and I will get to how she looks in here pretty soon. But basically, she just gives it to him, and look how happy she is. She's like, "I did it. I'm done." Now that the Sith have returned, we'd do well to remember this. So basically, she's like trying to teach this lessons, like don't trust anybody because the Sith returned. We don't know who's going to be a Sith. Expect some blows. Basically, that's what she did. Expect some blows. Be prepared.
Yep.
So here we go.
And maybe expect some blows from your own.
Exactly. Does she fade away here? That's my question here. Does she fade away, or is this some kind of...
No, this is a Force illusion. It was featured heavily in what?
And she's doing a Force illusion, but she doesn't die, or no one's dying from a Force illusion?
No, it's not projection. She is there. She just cloaks herself.
Okay.
And walks away.
But still, there's no death involved in using of these powers.
Yeah, it's kind of akin to mind trick in a way.
Yeah, because I seen this and I was like, okay, well, she's like going through some kind of wall or whatever, so I'm like trying to put this together and stuff, but I know she's not like just fading away. So so that's good. So
she's just showing off.
Yeah, she's like, "Look at me," kind of deal. Yeah.
Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah. Hide and seek, right? Jedi way. Yeah. So we have them here now. They're talking here. Mace is like, "What a bizarre woman. I'd heard she was dead." And so they're talking about her, and Mundi's like, "Yes, as is her wisdom, she's speaking the truth. We've all felt it." And so basically, they're talking about her orthodox way of training and stuff, and how strong she is and everything here, and about the Sith and all that, and like being prepared. So I thought that was a very interesting little commentary here about them not really, the Jedi not really facing the Sith anymore, so now they have to reinvent or figure out how they can approach to get rid of them and stuff. So I thought that was very interesting. And to have Asharad Het in here, and another, to me, that's another foreshadowing as well. So, and here we go. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more here. So we do have Mundi talking with her as well. So you want to go ahead and talk further about this one here, Steve?
I don't remember what they talked about.
Yeah, you're like, I don't remember. You are just too relaxed, aren't you? All right. So basically, they're just talking about, how she's proud of him. And when she found him, she knew that, with his mannerism and all that, that he would make a good, reasonable Jedi, and that she wished she could have trained him. Because she, again, if you follow along in the other comics, she found him, but she wasn't able to train anybody because of how she is with the Force, and how she trains, and how suspicious she is and stuff. And they basically didn't really trust her that much in the Order.
Yeah. That picture on on the right when she's standing and holding up
Hmm.
the lightsaber. A soul assassin wants you to zoom in on her chest.
Uh-huh. Let's see here. Well, look at she has a butt too. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go, soul assassin. We do take requests on this stream.
Oh my goodness. So here we go. So she's an elder woman. But look at her. Yeah.
Hello there.
Hello there, poor Stig. All right. So she does have a purple lightsaber, so I thought that was very interesting as well. And so let's go ahead and again, she leaves. They have the discussion, and now we have them in the we get to see how they open up their meetings. And so I thought that was very, very interesting because we don't see how they open up their meetings. We don't get a glimpse of it. So we have all of them reciting something individually and together. With all of us, may the force be, and then we have mace, and may the peace of this temple be ours. And so they had, each one of them are reciting something, and I thought that was a very, very interesting on how there's a ceremony to open up their council meetings.
Also, a couple of the council members uh, die between episode 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is why you don't see them in episode 2. Because
Yeah.
Depa Bilaba, who's the last one, she pretty much dies in the Mace Windu novel Shatterpoint, which George was heavily involved with. And that's why she's not on the council in episode 2,
Yeah.
because she activates the lightsaber against her own head.
Yeah. Soul Assassin, living with the Tuscans, dad getting killed by a psycho, basically a psycho force user, ex-Jedi, and being sucker kicked in the gut by an old woman. No wonder Crate ended up the way he did. Oh God, there's a lot that he goes through, and he's kind of has a tragic background as well. Do you think dual canon could exist? Oh, like a dual, like parallel, maybe. I mean, I would love to see them to continue with, what we call Legends timeline now, and give us Sword of the Jedi and everything that was supposed to come out and continue the stories. But do we trust the story group with keeping, it intact like the old story did?
Because they're gonna put some insane SJW
Mm-hmm.
in there to write a book, and it's gonna contradict everything. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Jaina Solo is going to be a lesbian single mom, and she's having a Chinese transgender baby.
And you're going like you're just like really like hashing out this big, huge SJW type scenario for her. That's bad. All right, Albanos, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, sweetheart. Wishing you a fantastic show today. Unfortunately, I am running errands right now and I can't stay, but we'll definitely catch the replay later on. Haters gonna hate, but Lucas EU is forever. Exactly. Okay, and I think this is for you, Stig. I didn't ask, but I'm not complaining.
I sensed it in the Force.
He sensed your thoughts in the Force.
I sensed his inner turmoil.
His inner turmoil. He's like, I must see. All right, Christopher Barker. Kind of wish all the Star Wars legends were all comics. New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, all damn. Also, damn, look at that booty. Yeah, she was packing. She's packing.
Yep.
Baby got back. And Adi Galaya, I always pronounce that wrong. Galia, there we go. Also dies too. She's not in episode 2.
Yeah, but there's one that looks very much like her in episode 3. Mm-hmm. That is not Adi Galia. It's I can't remember her name, but different characters, but they look almost the same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. And I don't have her name right at the top of my head either. So, okay. So let's go back to the comic.
She is from Corellia, by the way.
Yes.
Corellian Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And she's awesome.
Yes, she is. And so we have the opening of the council, so we get to see, you know, like what they do. And I thought that was very, very interesting as well. And here's Yoda, and he has hair.
Yep.
I've had many of debate about that and how Baby Yoda or the child should look, but we're not going to really get into that and, you know, whatever. But, and we also have Yaddle in here. Yaddle is in here. So they are discussing what's going on in Malastare. And there's supposed to be a peace conference, treaty type conference going on to, to settle the disputes between like three races, right? Two or three races.
No, two rival faction among the Lanik.
Yeah.
Which is the race Evan Piel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So he has insights on the conflict, and apparently that's where he lost his eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very interesting. Also interesting that someone actually took a Jedi's eye out.
Yeah, and we'll get into that because there's a reason why he did not. It doesn't tell exactly what happened, in the duel and the fight, but there's a reason why he decided to keep the deformation, and we'll get to that. So it is in the comics here. So they're discussing on who should go, and so there's like what five of them appointed.
Yeah, and they're taking half the council basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is an important treaty.
Yeah, exactly. So
going to Malastare, and this ties into the movies quite well because Jedi's are the peacekeepers of the galaxy.
Yeah,
and solving diplomatic issues like this is absolutely what Jedi are there to do.
Yeah, and even
they're not just flashing lightsabers.
Yeah, and even Mace, question just, we are guardians of the peace before we, enter into conflict and fighting for it. So that's basically he rehashes that as well. But they also know that they're diplomats and that they go in and help mediate these kind of treaties and to keep peace and stuff and keep order. And so this is what this is about. And so I thought it was very, very interesting that even this type of political thing is put into the comics, and it really goes well with the movies and the overall lore and how Jedi are guardians of the galaxy. And they are prepared to fight if they need to, and we do see it. But their first overall goal is to have a peaceful resolution to what's going on in the conflict wherever they are taken to resolve the conflict. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So
yeah, they're sending mostly masters this time, so that shows the importance as well.
Yeah, Soul Assassin wasn't Sebula's species from Malastare. They were indentured servants because they were like saying they're not really slaves, they're indentured servants because we taught them how to be civilized, and so they were paying back their debt to us. Remember that?
Yeah. So you have the Grands and the Dugs are native to Malastare, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have that going on there too as well. So let's see here. Netcat, I always love hearing you talk about Star Wars stuff, OG. I've had you on in the background while I've been working. Awesome. Thank you again so much. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, even if you can't watch, but listen. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So they're preparing to go. We have, Mace. We have
Plo
Koon. Who else we have?
Yaddle goes with them.
Yeah, Yaddle does too. That's right.
Yaddle has almost like a cult following now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? She's popular, very popular.
Yeah, she is. She is. She's an interesting little character too. And so I could see that people like her. And so this right here, Stig, so they are returning sabers. They gave each other sabers at one point in honor of each other, and now they're returning them. So I really didn't. I should have talked with you beforehand on this. I don't recall what this was about.
It's not referenced in the previous one.
Yeah,
It seems to be a thing that has been going on between Windu and the other one,
yeah,
and it's like an honor brotherhood thing going on.
yeah.
Uh, Very interesting,
It
actually.
is.
Seems the two of them are very, very good friends, and they have the utmost respect for each other,
Mm-hmm.
which might be why Windu had uh, the other one follow him to arrest Palpatine in
Yeah.
Episode 3, because Windu trusts him completely.
Mm-hmm. And Window doesn't trust completely at all.
Yeah, so this is a big deal.
Yes. And so we see this little ceremony going on where they give each other back their lightsabers that they honored each other with allowing them to use their saber. And so I thought this was a like awesome like brotherhood type ceremonies. And even, Yoda's like, most honored to witness this we are. So basically he is commending them for their little ceremony and ritual of brotherhood, I guess you could say. Like this is a brotherhood of trust, like the circle of trust kind of
Yeah,
deal.
like the cool kids club.
Yeah, the cool kids club. And thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So here we go. And so we have them getting ready to depart. What's going on here? And he's looking for Asherad and Asherad Het. And I really like this little scene, although too it was like this is Anakin right here in the scene, and he's still thinking about home. He's very young here. This is like what, just right after he was brought to the temple,
Yeah,
right
this,
after, but
this story takes place right after Episode 1.
yeah.
And this little scene didn't even have to be in the comic, because it doesn't have anything to do with the story, but it's a nice thing. You have Anakin and Asherad Het being unused to being inside and on a different planet and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they're missing Tatooine. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah. Yes. And so, yeah, this could have been skipped in a sense, but it also gives some weight with Asherad Het and missing home, missing the desert. And it's a small little nod to Anakin, even though he's not even, the star or one of the protagonists in here. It just gives a good little nod to them being from Tatooine and having another person who can, basically relate to you.
Yeah,
Because we know that Anakin's still trying to find his place at this age. He left his mom. It was his choice. They didn't take him. It was his choice to go. But he's so young, and he's already conformed to his relationship with his mom that he's having trouble adapting.
yeah, and
And then,
it's interesting that the two of them have a similar fate.
mhm, yeah. And now there's kind of like, I guess if you want to see it that way, foreshadowing between the two, because they both go dark. They both affect, the Skywalker family somehow. Vader or Anakin directly, and then Asherad indirectly.
Yeah, interesting how very competently written those EU comics were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I thought this like Stig said, really didn't need this, but it's a great nod. A really
Yeah,
good nod. Nice little like little quiet scene that we like kind of like see in the movies, but in comic wise,
yeah,
before shit
exactly.
went down. So yeah. And he talks about pod racing. And again, Malastare has a pod racing there. And so he's like, oh, I heard about the pod races there, kind of deal, because we all know that Anakin is a pod racer, of course. That's what won his freedom to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
And so really, really yaps about that. And a little bit to me, it was kind of annoying because he's like pod racing, pod racing, pod racing, but I get it as well. He's very young and his mind is still trying to connect back to familiarity for himself. So
yeah, and Anakin is a sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yes.
makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Trust me, as
So
sports fans will yap about it.
exactly. So here we go, going into the next one here as well. I think we spent almost a whole hour just on that one. So we'll go through this like a little bit more quickly, but we're coming into the next one, part 2 of part 6. And here we go with the pod racing. So this is fun. This is a huge nod. We get, some of the original pod racers from, episode 1 in here.
Oh yeah, Sebulba shows up.
Here we go. And
Hell
he
yeah.
is also sponsored by by a liquor company. Look at that.
Yeah, and you have the announcers from episode 1.
Exactly. Exactly. So here we go. So we have the pod racing here, and we know that this is like one of the main ones. This is like the main one to win to get some good sponsors for yourself. So all right. So
Yeah,
let's go ahead and take a look at the
and
comments real quick.
some of them wants to assassinate Sebulba during the race.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rough sport. There's plotting going on. There's I don't know if they even have rules, to be honest.
I don't know either, because I mean they have their blasters on them, and they shoot at them like the other racers shoot at them and stuff. So I mean, whoever gets to the finish line first wins, basically.
Yeah.
No matter how you get there, as long as you stay on course and you don't perish. That's the thing with that. Okay, Christopher Barker, OG, I heard rumors Disney wants Mace Windu series. I asked myself, what are they going to do with his character? Then it's Disney saying, here's TV shows of popular characters because they are popular. Well, pretty much.
Well, so far, every original character from the first 6 movies that they've touched, they've completely messed up. So it's not going to be different with Mace Windu.
Yeah, exactly. So we have someone in a pod racer here, and he has his blaster. Sebula is basically the main one that they want to get rid of because he's so good at his racing, and he does cheat too as well. There's a lot of cheating going on in pod racing, and so I find that very interesting. And they even say Malastare's pod racing track is very, very diverse in landscape compared.
It even goes through the city.
It does.
Which no safety here, right?
Yeah. None whatsoever. So we have here, he's like, and he's so confident and snide, he even throws his liquor bottle and hits someone else in the pod race. So he is very, very snide and confident and assuring as well. And
later on, we'll probably delve a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
Something happens involving him, and he might be annoying and he might be a piece of shit, but holy crap, he's not a coward.
Oh no, he's not. He's definitely not. And I thought these two, even in the comics here, they had great commentary. At first in episode 1, I thought they were a little bit annoying, but then when you get into these comics and they're in there and stuff, they're just like any other commentary type person who's broadcasting sport events. They have to be crazy, kooky. They have to have fun remarks, and all that, and witty. So seeing these two here in the comics for this pod race is kind of refreshing to me. So
I didn't like them in the movie, but they're there, and having them show up later and stuff, it's quite okay because it ties very well into episode 1.
Yeah, exactly. And so see that. Okay, so this is one scene, and look at the environment, and now they're coming into the city. And there's a reason why we're seeing the pod races right now, and the Jedi are heading out to this peace summit because they want a distraction from the overall public. For the peace treaty.
They don't want eyes on them while they're doing the peace treaties. They want everyone to be busy watching the pod race, which is clever.
Yes, very, very clever. I have something in my eye. There we go. Yeah, so it's very diverse. And again, we have his sassy ass back in here. And so I thought that was refreshing and fun. I think that because he's like one of the #1 pod racers, I think if they didn't omit him, that it would be kind of a tragedy considering the pod racing lore of Star Wars and the time frame that we are in. So I'm glad to see him. And he does win. He does win this round.
Oh yeah, and he's just a few weeks ago or months, he lost, I think, probably for the first time against Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably extra moody.
Yes, probably. So here we are. We have him. He's winning, and we have the bad guys, and they're called what? Red.
Yeah, they're a priesthood.
Yeah.
Of sorts. I can't remember what they were called. They're pulling the strings.
Yeah, we'll get to it because I didn't write down my notes that I planned on doing on making sure I got names right. So we'll get to it. But these guys are the ones that are scheming behind the peace treaty summit, and have basically full control of everything that's going on. And they are using the pod race event to cloak what they are doing as well. So, and we have like this little Seath here, this little what do you call it, he's carrying some kind of like blade on the back of him.
I think it's the Gamorrean guard behind him holding the axe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. But it looks like it's part of his, like it's like attached to his back. But you're right, because I don't see it in this other picture here. All right. So, we have them celebrating. These guys are plotting here. Do you think it was a good idea scheduling our peace negotiations with the Lannic Prince during the same time cycle, this contemptible sporting event? So they're talking about that, and so they're going into like, yes, it's good because we can even use the holo cams that float around to kind of capture us, the Jedi being slaughtered kind of deal. They're very, very vicious, very vicious. So let's go on here. So here we have them plotting as well, and let's see here, where are we at? And the Jedi are coming in, and we have this guy remembering who Evan is, or Even is.
Yeah, he has a scar as well.
He does, across his nose right there. And let's see here.
And he knows who gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like looking forward to it, in a sense.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like, part 2 of this little conflict that they have with each other. What went on with the people. And this also covers, like, for the Lennox, it covers what exactly happened, in a sense, not in too much detail, but there was, some shift of power and stuff going on, and we get a prince, and so that too is covered as well.
Yeah, I can answer a question from the chat. Christopher Barker is wondering why there's no Blu-ray for season 1 of The Mandalorian. It's probably because Disney wants everyone to subscribe to Disney Plus. Pretty sure, because that's pretty much the only draw that streaming service has is The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and soon Kenobi. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and of course cartoons for the kids. That's also a big one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the Jedi arrive on Malastare here, and they start making their way. And here's the three-eyed species that Stig, and what's their name again? What's their name of the species again?
The Gran.
There we go, Gran.
Yeah.
There we go.
One of these senators is featured in, is mentioned in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Valorum says, a senator something from Malastare.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I
Love
pay
it.
attention.
You do. That's why you're here. That's why you're my co-pilot.
Oh,
Right.
Jane Solo in the chat is going to write some winter Akbar fan fiction. What do you think? It's,
Oh my God.
I think it sounds fishy.
You rebel scum.
There we go. That's funny. It's yeah, that's called fishtails, right?
Yeah, a good one. Good one.
I'm picking up on your puns.
Yeah.
There you go. So dead. Oh, my daughter's on break. All right, so then we have like the senator meeting with them, but you know he isn't he the one that's behind the takeover too that they're doing.
Oh, it's the whole damn thing is completely corrupted.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's even the good guys in a sense are corrupted.
Yeah, and
So
so
yeah.
Mhm. All right, so they the Jedi's like, you know, they're like, okay, so where do we house you? You know, their Jedi's getting set up with housing and stuff, a place to stay so that they have, you know, so they can be prepared for the negotiations and stuff. And then we also have here's here's also where they talk about the climate, and he does give Asherad Het a good example of, or a good talk about, you know, this is your like your third planet you visited and stuff, and you know just open your mind and be open to, you know, newer climates and newer experiences and stuff. And so he gives them a lot of good advice here as well, and so that is just like a apprentice like teach you, you know, master moment right here. So that was, I thought that was a nice little slow down story between the two.
Yeah,
So
Lord Vader is telling us he's a Raylo. I'm so sorry, Lord Vader. There's pills that might remedy that.
well, whatever floats your boat, darling, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, okay, so all
Yeah,
right.
the Jedi are heading towards their quarters, I believe, and villains are following them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for some reason, they think they can take them out.
Yeah.
You know, you have to give it to the Lanik race as well. They're cocky and they're sure as heck not too afraid.
No, they're not. For short little tiny people.
Yeah, they're short, but they're cocky as heck. It's like the almost like the dwarves in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got too. I was like, what? I mean, and we'll get, once we get further into this, we'll see how cocky they are. But you know, because we get more insight on their species, especially towards the end on, you know, on what happens with the peace summit and stuff. But you know, we have, and I like this how, you know, the dash line means they're whispering. You know, again, I never really got into comics growing up, and so now it's like I am rediscovering them, and Stig knows this because I'll talk to him and say, oh my God, I'm reading this comic, and I'm just like friggin' nerding out, and I'll have conversation with him about it.
Oh
And
yeah, I was getting pictures of the comic several times yesterday from
yeah.
while she was reading. Look at this! Look at this!
Yes. So yeah, so we have Yaddle here too as well. So there she is.
Oh,
There
she has
she
hair.
She has hair. The species has hair. Yeah, Yoda does have hair in this comic series, and we do see him with hair like receding, like losing hair, where it's not that apparent in the movies and stuff, but he does have hair. So I question how they decided to make the child bald when, you know, apparently their species have hair and the baby should have hair by now. But I digress from that. Let's get back to this. All right.
Yeah, they're sensing they're being followed, as any good
Mm-hmm.
Jedi would.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a rather poor trap happening.
Rather poor.
Yeah,
After the group splits up, and then we have Mundi and Asherat Het. They are on their own because Asherat Het is like, you know, still adapting and still trying to, you know, make sense of everything. I mean, he's going through a lot of changes, and so, you know, Mundi's helping him. So they're on their own. And so they split up, and she's like, I can sense him, I can feel him. And these guys are so damn cocky. They're like, oh, we're gonna kill him. They have no idea what Jedis do and how they can sense things whatsoever. So this is like a failed attempt.
Yeah.
Hard.
Happens to me almost every time I go to the store. I sense it, and then
he's like, they are leaving the building. Full catch up. We mustn't lose sight of them. So they're stalking them. They want to get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday when I went to the store, I sensed the same thing. Turn around, and there's this 80-year-old woman in a walker, and I realized, yeah, this is the one following me. So I beat the hell out of her, and
oh my God, Stig.
yeah, and I said I foiled your attempt.
Oh goodness. Soul Assassin OG nerding out. I'm shocked. Oh, well, not that shocked. Yeah. But I think it's amusing to Stig because like I said, I never really collected the comics or really got fully into the comics. And so now I am. And I think
spoiler, Laura, they get even better. Like really, really, really better.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited here. So good. Hey, Matt Wilkins, how are you doing? And what's in your mug? Or what beverage are you enjoying this morning? Well, it's morning for me, where I live at. I'm glad you are here.
Probably reading that book again where Wedge shagged the chicken. He always reads that book.
Jedi Academy?
Yep.
All right. So we have them here, and they're like, they thought they were going to ambush the Jedi, and they're like, nope. And so we have the fighting commence, and they really thought they were going to take them out with their blasters.
Yeah, doesn't work. They basically they fail, and pardon my English, they fail and fuck off.
Yeah,
that's literally what happens.
Yeah.
Then they run off. The Jedi chase after them, and then basically the local police shows up, and they're like, "No, we haven't seen them."
Yeah,
clearly not true. But they also question how they could have the attackers could have gotten guns, because you're not allowed to carry guns on Malastare, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, so this is to you, Matt Wilkins. I'm going to read Jedi Academy to Stig every night for the next few weeks. He's reading it wrong.
I read it like a recipe for chicken.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so back to the comic. So yeah, like Stig said, that they're like, we didn't see anything, so they're basically in denial. This kind of hints that they know exactly what's going on as well, because they're covering up.
It's being covered up immediately.
It is. Sure is.
Shows the insane corruption on that planet.
It sure does. And so now they are ready to go to the Peace Summit here. So they got summoned. So the Jedi are heading over. I just love this art piece right here. With their moon, stars, all that. Yeah. The color contrast here. I really, really like this one right here. I was like, wow, that's really, really, really,
it's
really
almost Naboo-ish. And of course you have the mustache twirling, villains in the window nearby watching.
Yeah, they're all here. Kind of. Let's see here. So they're going in. They're starting the negotiations, and so here we are. We have this priest organization, meeting, and they, were discovered, and so they still think that they can get the best of the Jedi for whatever reason, even though the first attempt was, was a failure. So
it was pathetic.
Well, yeah, I was being a little rather nice, but yes, it was pathetic.
I'm from Norway, so
Yes,
every time I sound blunt, people, it's literally because I'm from Norway. It's we communicate differently in Norway. So when I'm speaking English, I'm still I'm speaking the language, but I'm still talking as a Norwegian. So that's
Mhm.
why I come off as very blunt sometimes. It's just it's a cultural thing.
Yeah. And here we go again. Wasn't even Peel in the Clone Wars 2003.
No, I don't think so.
I haven't. I
That
believe you.
one, yeah, I don't know. Who the heck knows?
I don't remember seeing him whatsoever because he's dead by then.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go, and we're coming into the next comic here, and this is when it starts getting fun. And so we get into the scene with the pod racing and the Jedi basically shocking Sebula. So
Yeah.
this is rather fun.
Actually, a spoiler: Sebulba beats the Jedi. He
Yeah.
actually does.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So here we are at the Peace Summit here, and is it the Peace Summit? Yeah, they are, huh? Are they
Yeah,
still at their quarters?
yeah. They're arriving at the peace summit, but
Okay.
this there is harsh. I mean, look, the Gamorrean guard just whacks Asherad head in the back
Mm-hmm.
with the blunt end of the axe just for getting too close to him. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. I mean, they're very, yeah, it's crazy how everybody's acting and how, how of it, and it's just the atmosphere is very, very tense, is what I'm trying to say. Very
Yeah.
tense.
And this is where Yaddle shines
Mm-hmm.
because she uses mind trick, I think, and calms the Gamorreans down and plays on their obvious ego.
Yeah.
Because the Gamorreans are immensely proud,
Yeah.
and they respect strength, and she basically talks them up and
Mm-hmm.
completely diffuses the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and I don't want to spend too much time in each scene because there's a lot to go through with all of these comics, all 6 of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot to uncover here.
Yeah, but I'd like to point out that every Jedi that gets sent on this mission gets an opportunity to shine a little,
Yeah.
which is good.
And here we go with Yaddle, and she's basically using mind tricks on him right now in the scene. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So she kind of, calms the situation down. And so I thought that was very interesting. And then we get into the negotiations here, where, well, they're not exactly in the room just yet, but they are sensing like danger. They're all sensing something. Asherad, our Mundi is basically telling Asherad, you have a lot going on in your mind because everything's new to you, and so you're feeling a mixture of different type of emotions, and it's kicking off your danger sense. But then they also start realizing, oh wait, well, we're all feeling the same thing, something's going to happen. So I thought that was interesting, little bit there. And let's see here where we at. So they go into the peace summit here, and they're talking, and negotiations start to happen, but there's huge conflict as well. So we're
and we learned that Evan PL in his past was involved with a rebellion on the Lanik planet, and he basically helped put the prince, I believe, in power. Was the cocky fellow with the beard?
Yes.
And the opposition, the main guy on the opposition was the one who gave Evan PL the scar and took his eye out during a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and pass on. So they're trying to negotiate it, and they're not coming into any terms because there's manipulation going on. Even though the prince has no idea, he has his own thing going on as well, and we find out that he's also corrupt as well.
Oh yeah, all of them. And the meeting gets heated, and they decide to call it off until everyone's cooled down,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And let me see that. Where's that scene where he gets really cocky? Right
All of them?
here. Well, all of them, yes, but this is like the beginning. He goes, yes, yes, very good. Warmest greetings, etc., etc. Is that countryman whom I see amongst these religious ragamuffins a free Lannick serving the Republic? And so basically he's calling even out.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, wow, he is friggin' bold. It's like he has no respect for him as a Jedi. None. You know, so I thought that was, and so he's right here. We see him right here responding. When I took the Jedi oath, I pledged my my hands, does it say hands? Yeah, to the laws of the Republic, and my mind to the ways of the Force. But my heart will ever belong to my homeworld. And you know, so you know they have this little banter going on, and it's very, very interesting. And this guy basically just takes names, and he's very blunt. He's very direct and corrupt.
Yeah, and Addie Gallia reveals her parents were basically Corellian ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
So she is most likely highborn,
Yeah.
yet still a Jedi. So it's interesting how they just toss in tidbits that fleshes out the characters.
Yeah, just like little
throughout the
tiny
story.
bit that gives us a more
Yeah.
understanding of where they came from.
Yeah, and it works. And it slowly builds up the basically the supporting characters from movies, which is what the expanded universe was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's entirely optional, but if you see a character you like in the movies, the odds are there's a comic or a novel, right? Where you can learn more.
Exactly. And again, right here it fleshes out because she's of Corellia, Jedi Master of the chief negotiator for this treaty. My parents longed for a settlement between your government and the rebels. I've come to finish their work.
Yeah. So both her and even PL have a personal stake in it.
Yeah. And then, so even basically tells what happens in the conflict. And so the prince says, did he? Too bad. I might have been prince much sooner had he spared the effort. So basically he's talking about the conflict between Even and what had happened. And he's like, if you would have got rid of him, I'd probably been prince sooner, if you wouldn't have saved him, basically. And yeah. So
absolutely no respect going on there.
No respect whatsoever. So Mace Windu calls, and so we have the what they call them, the red I keep on forgetting their name, the red something.
I think it's a colonel of sorts.
Yeah, so we have them in here, and these guys too are also the manipulators here as well. And so Mace is like, well, everybody, it's becoming hostile. These now negotiations are becoming hostile. We're going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and so they leave. And so we have the pod racing going on during the same time. And so they planned this accordingly. They knew that the Jedi would say, the negotiations are, not going as planned. They will call adjourn. And so we have the pod racing going on, and they shuttle the Jedi back to their quarters during the pod racing. And let me go ahead and scroll fast. And here's all of the pod racers right here. So I thought that was very interesting. We got to see the pod racers. Who's in this?
And they look just as stupid as they do in episode 1.
Oh goodness!
I mean, one of them looked like a broccoli or something mixed with a snake.
Right here.
Yeah.
One sandwich.
Yeah, that's a face only Wedge would love.
Oh my god. All right, so we have them racing here. And it's commencing. We're not going to go too much into details. We do have the prince here talking, the meeting's being adjourned. He is very pissed right here, as you can tell. So we're not going to get too much into the details of this, but basically Mace is like, we're done. We are done. And let's go ahead and fast forward here. So they leave. They get shuttled back. I'm like zipping through this. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so, you can skip through another one. And this is where it takes a really bad turn for the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because something happens in that, basically the cab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So basically, here's that scene. They leave. They're getting shuttled back. They're in separate shuttles, as planned, and they start talking here. And he's like, someday the Lennox of old shall return, but sacrifices will have to be made. Dun dun dun. So we have this going on, and they turn on him.
Yeah, they pull guns, and all of them are wearing explosives.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really bad if you're up in an airspeeder.
Exactly, and imagine they wore it in the negotiations because they had them on.
Yeah.
So there was no weapon check whatsoever.
Exactly.
They could have just ended them in the negotiations.
Yeah.
So here we go. And because the pod racing is going on and they have the little holocams zipping around to, broadcast it, which is their plan, because they wanted it to be caught on camera on the holocron of them assassinating Jedi.
Yeah. Like any good terrorist, you want to get seen, right?
Exactly. And so they turn on them. They have their bombs, or, they have their, they're armed to the core, basically. And so they go shoot them.
This is the dumbest scene in the comic, because Evan PL chops the airspeeder in half. If you move up a bit, you can see how big that airspeeder actually is. I mean, look at that. The lightsaber blade is not long enough to do that.
Yeah, and it shows too on there. So here's the Eve here, and all of a sudden he hits exactly where there is less,
but still, it's.
I know, I get it. I was like, wait a minute here, how in the heck? We know that the sabers that are used by like the species that are smaller, the blades are a little bit smaller too as well, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. This is a gripe I had with that comic. It's it's a minor one though, but still, it's very visible. So they chop it in half, and the half with the bad guys on explode.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 3 Jedis are free falling.
And I'm free falling. There you go. Tom Petty in there.
Yeah.
And so here we have them. They're falling down, and the other ones in the other ship are like, oh crap, something's going on, kind of deal.
Yeah, they get tossed off by the other Jedi.
Exactly. So they're tossed, and they're like, oh, we got to save them. But what's funny, and Stig and I were talking about this, is that the precise timing of him passing by kind of saves or breaks their fall a little bit. But he's like, what the hell is going on? They're interfering with my race. He's in the loop.
Yeah, they're dangling onto Sebulba's pod racer. And then next comic happens, and awesome things.
Yeah, and Matt Wilkham, Stig hating on comics, laugh out loud.
Yeah, just that bit of it though.
Yeah. All right. So we have this, and so here we go. Comic 3 or 4. Sorry. So there's a lot going on. This kind of foreshadows what's going on in the comic and what this species is here as well. So we got them free falling, so Boba basically catching them on, not willingly catching them, but basically breaking their fall and harming his lead in the race almost. And so
they're slowing him down with the weight. He gets pissed and decides to get rid of them, and he doesn't care if they're Jedi or not.
Yeah,
it's like He doesn't register. He's not afraid of them.
Mind. He's like, I got to get to that finish line. Who the hell are you guys? Get off my pod racer. Basically go away. What are you doing there? So basically he's like, what the hell is going on? You need to leave. You are, hurting my chances of winning.
Yeah.
He don't care that they are Jedi. So I thought that was.
Yeah, and the other ones are kind of sensing that the other ones need help. So they're driving after them. Meanwhile, Sebulba is physically attacking them. He's using a wrench to smack Wendy's fingers to make him lose a grip.
Yes, fall down. You're slowing my pod racer. So he's like, I don't care who you are. He's got his wrench here. He's like, get off my pod racer, you scum.
Yeah, and then he sees the lightsaber, and then he doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. So this was fun. This was a very fun little scene here. Very, comedic here as well. Even though he slices the wrench in half, he basically gets them off his pod racer. Still, he is not afraid whatsoever. This dude has balls.
Yeah, and someone tries to take advantage and assassinates Sebulba as well. And also, Sebulba demands a new wrench.
Yeah, he's like, I thought that was funny. He's like, you need to give me a new wrench now. You owe me a new wrench. And he's like, I can't hold on. Of course, everybody's taking the prime opportunity to get rid of Sebulba here. So we have a lot of going on. It's funny. So Sebulba has, basically balls. He's like, get off I don't care who you are. I don't care that you are Jedi. You scum you Jedi Poodoo need to get off my pod racer. Soul Assassin Jedi Poodoo. There we go. Let me see here. Let's go back. So this was kind of fun, not kind of fun. This was very fun to read, like little action pack. He doesn't care. Of course, the other Jedi, basically get underneath them and catch their fall. Everything is right in the Jedi world now that other than, what's going on, they're trying to put everything together. Like, what the hell did we just experience? And
Sebulba technically beat 3 Jedi Masters with a wrench.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened. He just basically took control of the situation and got rid of them.
Yeah,
got rid of them. And I think because they're being cameraed, I think Mace, because when they were falling, they're like, we could just levitate down. And I think Mace was like, well, we don't want to seem obvious. But they brought their lightsabers out anyway, so they were obvious. So I thought that was kind of funny. So that's why they didn't really levitate down. So, and here we go. We have the prince. Look at this. His Twi'lek serving him. All of that. He's like, thank goodness that boring treaty session is over, and I can return to pursuits that are more in keeping with my exalted station.
Soul Assassin wants you to zoom in on those blue Twi'leks. So since we take requests, we're going to have to do that.
Okay, for Soul Assassin, even though I know that Soul Assassin did not ask that, I will take Stig's request.
Oh, it wasn't a DM on Twitter.
Whatever. So here we go. So we have the Twi'lek servants here, and he's kicking back, just right. Wait, as the
what is she holding? The other one?
Huh?
The other one, the one that's on the. What's she holding?
Right here, these flowers or whatever.
It looks like a whip full of clams.
And to me, well, there's thorns and stuff. There's some kind of floral, like flowers. That's what I see.
He's gonna spank him.
Maybe. I mean, he does look like he's quite relaxed and happy with the situation. So who knows what was happening there? Keep it to your imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. Start writing that fan fiction thing, Soul Assassin. You have material right there. The
I
clam
am
whip.
doing like reviewing like fan films and stuff for the channel once a month. So so Soul Assassin, if you're gonna do
No, no,
something,
no, no,
do your stuff.
don't. It's gonna be X-rated. I guarantee it.
Oh, poor Soul Assassins put on the spot. All right. So within we have, you know, the guys coming in. He thought he was going to just relax after this big, huge conflict and, you know, go on to better pressing things here, obviously, with the Twi'leks and what's going on. And these guys have another plan. So at first I thought they were wearing, it looked like some kind of fruit, but it's just their bottoms, how it looks. But I was like, what the hell are those circles around her lower half? So, and he basically is clutching a pillow right there. So leave it to your imagination, gents. Leave it to your imagination.
He's covering something with that pillow, I believe.
And so, you know, Disney or Star Wars is for kids, everybody. Star Wars is for kids. Just look at this. Star Wars is for kids. All right.
Once a Soul Assassin write us a fan fiction story about what is he hiding under that pillow.
All right. So let me see here. It jumped. Matt Wilkins, put Bird Woman in it or Stig won't watch it.
No. No.
And then he says, it looks like a disease. Soul Assassin is just really having fun with your banter. He's covered a banana.
Could be.
Yeah. You know. All right.
Yeah,
So
he was covering his forbidden fruit with a pillow. And yeah. The priest showed up.
Again, Star Wars is for kids, right? All right. So we have the priest come in and with his minions, basically. And they're demanding, they want to kill the prince because they want to take over. So there's a lot of corruption going on in all ends of this. And we're seeing it unfold right here. So.
Yeah, and we learned that the prince has also been used and duped, basically, by people who want to take over.
Yeah. Lord Vader, Stig, do you like green Twi'leks?
Sure.
You're like, I don't discriminate on skin color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mind you, he's laying on the couch right now. All right. So, but we're not going to go there either. All right. So he's covering a Bacta tank. All right. So, you know, we have, he basically said, I might as well kill you now and be done with it. So they want to take over as well and get rid of the prince. And so we have that. And they bring in these dogs, basically. And where is the name of them?
I think it's on the next page, but yeah. They have some, act dogs. They're, big dogs.
Mm-hmm. And so this goes into more of Mace Windu's, you know, lore and his character and where he's from. And so we're finding that out right now. So basically they're trying to kill the prince, and then the Jedi sense it and they come through the top window, busted down into the room. And so they think that they have the advantage with the act dogs, but little do they know that and that they have a special bond with the act dogs. So just like the Tusken Raiders have a special bond with the Banthas, Mace reveals that they have a special bond with the act dogs, and that the Force and with his family, the Force has, you know, given them, you know, the bond, their family, the bond, and there's other families too, but he mentions his family on keeping, you know, in tune with these dogs, these act dogs. So he's explaining that and how they use them, how they have a bond, how they are entitled or not entitled, are by the Force, are deemed to take care of them, and that they're really a peaceful type dog. Even though they look menacing, they are really useful and peaceful and trained to work alongside their people, Mace's people. So I thought that was very interesting. So he comes and he surprised everybody because no one's expecting this to happen. And he's like, oh, by the way, and I thought this was kind of cheesy because all of a sudden we have these little type of dogs that are being used to attack. And then Mace comes in and he's like, oh, they're from my planet. And we have a special bond with them. So I thought that was a little bit cheesy, but it works, you know?
Yeah. And it sets up the last part of the story quite well.
It does. It does.
And Yaddle kills one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The tiniest Jedi on the team kills a huge dog. Yaddle is awesome.
Yeah, look at that, right through the eye.
Yeah.
You know, and
she blindsided him.
Really. Literally. So we have that, and then so he's like, you know, I'm gonna calm him down, blah 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 blah, and he does, and he creates that bond because these guys are not as manipulated as the ones we'll see later on in the comic series, and really stuns the minions basically, and the priest here, and they basically he escapes. Look at that. He's like, I'm gone.
Yeah, he uses a jetpack, and this is very cheesy because it hits Sebulba.
Yeah.
And it flies into Sebulba's engine.
Doesn't he get like torn up?
Oh yeah. He gets ground beef.
Yep. That is so well. I seen that. I was like, oh, they just really sliced him up, like ground him up. Oh. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, he went for the chopper.
Yeah. Literally. And
they literally dropped him into the blender.
Exactly. And so Asherad hits like unfortunate. Yes, let's hope that it doesn't affect that poor pod racer's track record. So there we go. So we have that. And so basically they is that the priest that they captured right here?
Yeah. They basically resolved the situation and the problematic elements in the negotiations have been dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
But Mace Windu wants to investigate where they got the hounds from.
Yes, and this sets up the next comic here. So
the last two parts of this story, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is a setup in that one.
Yeah. So we have that. There's some kind of resolution here. Then we get why. We have why or how he got his eye. So we get that. Did we skip that? How he got that battle?
No. Yeah, it was a battle with the villain.
That's
early
right.
On in that first rebellion thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he chooses not to have his eye healed, you know, so that he can remember, you know, the situation and stuff, and why he is a Jedi, why he is for his people and stuff like that. So, you know, that was a good, very interesting little, you know, commentary there as well. So now we get Mace heading out to investigate what's going on with the act dogs and why are they being used, you know, in sporting and attack type situations.
Yeah,
so
and they go to Nar Shaddaa.
Mm-hmm.
A famous spot in the expanded universe, Smuggler's Moon, which is just above Nal Hutta, the Hutt planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And all right. So they go to Nar Shaddaa. So Nar Shaddaa, I don't know if I said that right. Nar Shaddaa. Yeah. And so we get to see that. So we know that, you know, what that place is in the lore. We get to see it in the comics. We know that it's a crime hub basically.
Yeah, it's featured in it's in Dark Forces, it's in Jedi Knight 2, it's in Jedi Academy, it's in the second Knights of the Old Republic game. It's been used a lot. I think it's in Shadows of the Empire game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and this could, yeah. And this gives you an exact, like, like the different levels. Like Coruscant, this has different like levels. The deeper you go, just like Coruscant, the deeper, the more there is, unorganized, living quarters and stuff like that. There's a lot more crime. There's, it's more lawless and stuff. So the deeper you get, like within Coruscant, the deeper you get in Nar Shaddaa, there, the more chaotic it becomes.
Yeah, and well, there's no law on Nar Shaddaa. It's basically crime lords keeping some peace.
Yeah. And Lord Vader, yes, it's the smuggler's moon. And so we have this conflict going on here that sets up this comic here. And what's interesting is that we have them corresponding with this lady about like some kind of alcohol here, some kind of drink, and they're getting ready to go kill her. And she is saved by Mace. And then the crime lord here is like, well, I want to test all my people on you to see how well they correspond to Jedi. And so he faces their whole syndicate, I guess you can say. And
yeah,
so
the whole gang, really.
Yeah, the whole gang, the whole syndicate and stuff. And then we find out that another Jedi appears, and lo and behold, look who we have. So
yeah, Depa Bilaba, who is Mace's apprentice.
Yes.
And on the Jedi Council.
Yeah. And I really like how she's drawn here. She's really gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. And so she comes and helps Mace, and kind of she has his back, and he was like, what the hell are you doing here? And she's basically sensed what was going on, and went to Nar Shaddaa as well. And
and that one there, over the top though. I mean, she cuts 3 people in half with one slash. It's a tad excessive.
He's like, okay, these comics are like exaggerating everything.
A little bit. I guess if you have 3 people close to each other, you can do that with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But I don't know. 2 would have been enough.
Yeah. But let's just go for 3 just to make it right and good in the world, right? For Jedi.
Sure.
And look at her saber. She's got red lightsaber here. Now Mace's is blue right here.
Yeah.
I think he gets, and I'm not too sure exactly when the story is, but in Shatterpoint or like around that time frame, he gets the crystal for a purple. But we don't see his saber in episode 1, so that it doesn't really contradict that.
No, that's true. And he had been borrowing his friend's lightsaber.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a little bit of history there, for him in Shatterpoint, helping the people and stuff like that. They gift him with a purple crystal.
Yep.
And she builds a new saber, and so we see him with the purple crystal. So it doesn't necessarily break continuity, because this happens before we even see him wield his purple lightsaber.
Yeah, so it doesn't mess up anything, actually.
It doesn't. It just expands on the story and what, the evolution. And then again, the Brotherhood exchange that he did with his one of his apprentice or his friends as well. So, and we see her, she has the red lightsaber. Again, red doesn't mean you're Sith. The Sith did prefer red because it distinguished them between the Jedi. But there are some Jedi that had red sabers.
Yeah. So. And note the absence of Kanan, who Filoni tossed in to make her apprentice retroactively.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah. So here we go. And so she basically
cuts 3 people in half.
Yeah. Yeah. So they talk here. She tells him, when I was a baby, you saved my life, gave me home, taught me the beauty of the Force. While Deepa Bilaba is alive. None shall harm the head of her master. And then I thought this was really funny. So there's a little bit of banter. The Force knows that head can use all the protection it can get. And she rubs his bald head. So I thought that was funny. A little bit of, commentary, a little relationship that they have as master and apprentice kind of thing, and creating humor. So I thought, and I shared that with Stig. I was laughing about this. So then we get to the old lady, and we see her. She's kind of like has lost her mind basically because of the hard life she lived and drinking and all this other stuff. So we get that. But she also says that she is thankful for the Jedi because the Jedi took her daughter that she calls Angel. And so this leaves it open to like, who was her daughter? And I was asking that. So who was her daughter? Who was the one that the Jedi came and took to train? So, yeah. And then we get another Jedi that pops in on the scene.
Lord Vader, I know it's Disney Star Wars, but half of the Clone Wars follows this lore.
Yeah.
So it's a mess.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars actually messes up both canons, as does Rebels.
Yeah, Soul Assassin, and she doesn't have Kanan running around behind her. No Stig, that's Disney Star Wars, which you talked about. Shatterpoint is after episode 2, isn't it? I have to take a look at the time frame for that. But yeah, Stig, that's Disney Star Wars. That's okay. Again, addressing that. Is she rubbing Max's head for good luck? Or Mace's head for good luck? Maybe, And Jaina Solo, how does he have a purple blade in episode 2 if he doesn't have a crystal towel Shatterpoint? I'm confused. So I'm guessing I have to go back and review the Shatterpoint, but either he got it by then or before then. So
actually, we can next time we do like a poll for novels, we can put Shatterpoint in there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
It's a standalone book after all.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and we can. And by the way, I hope you guys, whoever voted on Twitter, I'm letting you guys know now before we get on with the story here. Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader is the one that was voted on for the literature review book club, or club. And so if you haven't read it, pick it up, start reading now. There's still time. If you have, or if you want to, there's the Audible. It is unabridged, so it's not the entire story. That's why I recommend picking up the book. And we'll discuss it on the 24th. The time may change. I'll let you know. And we'll go in depth on the story, review the book, all of that. Just like we're reviewing this comic, this will be more in depth of that individual story. So please, 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 I encourage you to pick up the book. It's such a great book. We have, Bail Organa, like scared to death of Vader being in his castle or his palace. While they have, Princess Leia as a baby, there's a lot of stuff going on. The purge is going on. The Jedi that are trying to figure things out and why they are being compromised and the clones turn on them is going on. A lot of great story and lore going on in that book. All right. So there's that little that. So Lord Vader, Aura Singh. So Aura Singh, I don't know what that's referred to, that she was in the Clone Wars as well, maybe?
Yeah, all of a sudden she was not Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. So let's get back to this here. Kanan is in the Clone Wars season 7. Is he? I thought he was.
I don't know.
I don't remember. And if he is, then, of course, they rewritten season 7 to fit in the lore. Oh yeah, I forgot. His cameo. Okay, there we go. And so that there's something going on Twitter right now that people are telling me that nothing was changed in Clone Wars season 7, that it was George's story. And I'm like, no, there was stuff changed to fit in the Disney lore, and that's proof right there. Putting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because they in 2015, I think it was, they showed the rough cut of what was supposed to be season 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the same as what we saw in the season 7 they made.
Yeah.
That whole storyline with the the two Antifa sisters, that one wasn't in it. Ahsoka was supposed to have I think it was a smuggler, an Asian guy, was supposed to be her kind of love interest for a few episodes. That got cut, and Ryan Kinnell has the videos of the rough cut, because right before season 7 of the Clone Wars aired, Disney had all the videos on YouTube that showed that rough cut removed, even from private channels.
Yeah.
It got taken down.
Yeah. Because I didn't want you to compare what was being changed and stuff. That's how I seen it anyways.
Oh,
all right.
Lord Vader is saying Aura Singh is the child that was taken from that mother. Is this true? I don't remember this, but if it is, very interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too when I read it, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't research it or anything because I don't recall that whatsoever. So that is something that I'm gonna look into, but maybe.
If it is, it's going to be revealed in some comics that we're reviewing very soon.
Exactly. Yeah, so not too much spoilers here. So we did have a Jedi that showed up, and guess who it is? Dun dun dun. It's Quinlan.
Quinlan Voss. This is the introduction of Quinlan Voss in Star Wars. George Lucas gave him a little shout out in episode 3 a few years later by having Kenobi reference in. So George did use the EU.
Exactly. And I prefer his story much more in the original lore than what he was done in the Clone Wars. But we won't go too much into that. He is more of a tangible and a character that makes sense prior to what the Clone Wars did to him. So that's all I have to say about that. So we have him. We have the crazy lady here. She does have the antenna. Look at that.
Yep. Lord Vader is right.
Yeah.
Same
and
way.
I didn't realize that she had the antenna. I didn't see it. So yes, but I did think about Aura Singh when I read this. I was like, is that really her mother? But I didn't really look into it. I still question like, because I didn't really recognize the antenna here because there's a lot of like other details going on here that really didn't have me really catch on to that antenna. But there we go. So, she's really talking and she's like, my angel. So she called her angel. The Jedi took her, and it was the dark woman that took her, right? Because she's the one that trained her, correct?
She trained her, but I'm not sure if she took her. But we will find out in future comics.
Yeah. Good morning. Howdy, caffeinated. Good morning, caffeinated wolf. Thank you for joining us. The Sentinel Floney is guilty for crimes he'll never pay for. You are guilty.
He gets a free pass for doing way more stupid shit than Rian Johnson did.
Yeah. That's because a lot of people put him on the pedestal because they said, oh, he's the heir to George.
Yeah.
I never seen him that way. I seen past that from the beginning. Voss is not a dunder-headed surfer dude. No, he's not. He has a lot of reason for him being like very quiet, I wouldn't say he's dark, but he's very preserved because there's a lot of shit that he went through. So all right. So we have them meeting here on Nar Shaddaa, and she takes him down into the depths of Nar Shaddaa, and they go down to the ring where they're having the sporting events with the act dogs. So here we go. Here's the ring here, and the event going on, and we have a little bit of silliness. They just had a fight here. Someone's basically lost their arms.
Yeah, it's like they're holding up the hand of the winner and the arm just tears off.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And he's like, whoops, sorry. So a little bit of, cheesy banter there. So we have the act dogs here ready to be released or are being contained, I guess, because they just got done with a round. And So the Jedi come in. Let's see here. Let's get to it. So they come down into the thing here. So that gives us an idea what's going on. They do. What are these creatures? They do.
Oh, they're mentioned in the novels and stuff. They're almost like I don't know. They're creatures that hang out at the bottom of Nar Shaddaa. I
Yeah.
think they're at the bottom of Coruscant as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're in the Maul comic. Sorry, the Maul novel. I think.
Okay.
So yeah.
I thought that the name was given in this one, but I didn't look it up because I reviewed and then I went to bed. So I didn't, do anything else. So, we have them, basically fighting for their lives against these creatures from Nar Shaddaa and, these underworld creatures, I guess you can call them right now. And if you know what they are, the people in the chat, please let us know. And so we have, them descending down into the fighting ring. And so here is the last one to the comic series here. And so we have them again. They're fighting for their lives. And they finally make it down into the ring. So let's go ahead and fast forward here. So here we go.
Yeah.
Do you want to
they basically crash through the roof and land in the ring.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, what the hell's going on? Because this guy is like, did you get your money's worth, my friends? Basically, and bam, the Jedi crash in. So I thought that was funny. So we have the Jedi crashing in, fighting the creatures here, and they're like, what the hell is going on? Mace takes a, kind of a bad landing there, but it doesn't really compromise him as well. And then we have the Hutts here. And
one of which seems to have had a bite taken out of its head.
Yes, and we're going to get to that. And you could see it kind of right here on the bottom right-hand corner, because we only see at first, I didn't really catch on until I thought it was just the angle of this hut. And then as I got further, I was like, holy crap, he does not have, like, half of the head is missing. And so basically in proper hut reasoning, they make it sound like they're going to comply with the Jedi. They don't. So that's their thing. They lie. And so they're like, oh yeah, we'll, take care of you, blah, 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 blah. And they really don't do it. They turn on him. So here is the hut here with half of his face missing right here on, this is the back side of him. So, and they're like, we'll comply. We'll work with you. Yeah, but you know how the Hutts do it. And so here he is again with his face, and they do regenerate, but it takes them 100 years to regenerate.
Hutts regenerate.
Yeah,
like a slug or a worm.
Yeah, and let's see here. So we're coming down here. So they basically turn on him, and then we have these two people bidding here. And so I thought that was a little interesting. We have the crowd banter going on, and I'm not going to get too much into it right now, but there is kind of a significance to this little bidding that we'll get into as soon as I get there. And so we have this guy bidding against this Deveronian.
Yeah, and he will feature heavily in the upcoming comics.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So this is a setup then. Another setup.
Yep.
Capricious. What the heck? A half-faced hut. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, my friend. Pablo the Hut. All right. So a little bit of banter going on right there. And so we have them in here. They're negotiating with Mace is like, I want to know what's going on. Why are people using the act dogs from my planet? And the Hut's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just the one that sponsors these, some other people. But in reality, they are the one that is putting on the event and has these, control these act dogs. And so now they're whispering in the background to get rid of the Jedi by unleashing the act dogs. And so here we go. Here's a good picture of his face. Look at that. Isn't that just the face Mama loves?
It's gross as heck.
It's gross as heck. It's like, I was like, what the heck? I mean, Star Wars is amazing. There's so many different possibilities, and there's so many different avenues they take, and they make it makes sense more for mostly of it. So we have them, and again, he's like trying to say that they don't have control of the act dogs, but then yes, they do. So he tries to use his force to help tame and calm the act dogs down, but when you see them, they have a controlling mechanism on him, and we see that on their face and their bodies. And so they face that. And do you want to expand on this a little bit more, Steeg?
No, the animals have been tampered with to make them more aggressive for the fighting game, basically.
Exactly. And that's what he's discovering. And so his investigation to help figure out what's going on, because it is against the law of the Republic to use sentient or non-sentient kind of species, or smuggle them and use them in such a way. And so he's telling the Hutt that he's breaking the law, and he's like, well, this is Nar Shaddaa. The law doesn't apply here. And he goes, when you take it from a planet that's under the Republic and smuggle them and use them against the law, then you are breaking the law, is what he's saying. And so he's trying to figure out what's going on and take care of the problem of that. So basically the Jedi, they have to slay them because there's no other way. Mace can't calm them down. He can't bond with them and pacify them because they are tampered with. And that's sad. And that was kind of sad here. And then we find out between these two who this guy is, because he says that I am a he is like a manager to a celebrity, basically. And so he's like, you know what? I won the bet. Pay me up. And he's like, oh, well, he's trying to go back on his bet. And so they have their little banter. And we find out that he is basically the manager to Sebulba.
Yep.
Right here.
And Sebulba turns on.
Yeah, he might say Sebula, but it's Sebulba. Yeah, so we have that going on in the background here. So, and then we have again the half-faced Hutt, and the Jedi trying to fight for their lives in the ring here. So let's go on here.
Yeah, some fight happens, and when you get a nice little shot of what's inside the Hutt's head, which isn't much.
Yeah, exactly. Because doesn't she say that does he even have a brain? So I thought that was funny banter right there as well. But see, Stick, this is what I was talking to you about. Like he sticks something in his head. Look at that.
No, he's choking him with a cable.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't see this other side. Oh, damn. I didn't see that part. So he's choking him. Oh, wow.
Foreshadowing.
He's doing Organa solo on him.
Yeah, the Leia move.
He needs his bikini, right?
Yeah. He took off his condom.
Oh my God. So basically he kills him then, huh? No, he doesn't. No, because he's just,
right here. Basically forcing him to give up.
Exactly, because here we go with the lightsaber here. All that. So Mace gets control of the situation here. Of course, they don't kill all of them, but look at their cannibals. They're eating their own right here. The act dogs. So Mace kind of takes control here. You think so, friend Deepa, so basically they take control. It's chaos. Everybody flees. They want their money. So that's the end of the series for now. So any conclusions that you want to talk about, Steeg? You go first.
It's being set up through Quinlan Voss. who is doing something on Nar Shaddaa, and that's when the next one picks up. So we're going to get a lot of Quinlan Voss for a while,
Yeah. I,
and it's awesome.
yeah.
Other than that, this story was well, it fleshed out some Jedi's.
Yes.
It fleshed out uh, Malastare a little bit. But this isn't a. I wouldn't say this is a vital story or anything like that. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Sebulba steals the show.
Yeah.
He really shines in this one. I'd I'd give this comic as a 6 out of 10
Okay. Awesome.
overall. It's yeah, it sets up a lot of stuff, and it ties into Aura Singh as well, like Lord Vader said.
Yeah.
So everything is tightly knitted uh, in these comics.
Yeah. Exactly. And so what's the name of the next comics for after this that we're going to review so that people can kind of, if they have them, then they can pick them up and, go through them before next time we review.
Well, yap a little, and I'll look it up.
All right. So in the chat here, people in the chat, if you read this, go ahead and share with me what you liked about the comics and about the story. For myself, I agree. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's very, very entertaining. There are some cheesy spots here, some quite obvious spots, like all of a sudden these act dogs that are being used are tied to Mace, and then he goes and investigates. But again, it does flesh out a lot of the characters' backstory as well. For each character, we get the introduction of Quinlan Voss, which is going to be coming up in our next comic review, our next coffee chat. The coffee chats are not just about the comics; it's about the overall lore. But covering these comics and stuff, and how easy it is.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is delve into EU stories, but also if it takes place on a certain planet, we will try and flesh that one out a bit too.
Yeah, and because it takes place on Malastare, fleshing out and talking a little bit about the planets, like we did last Thursday about Tatooine and the significance of Tatooine with the overall lore. Malastare for this part of the lore is very significant as well. We do again get Nar Shaddaa and the crime hub, the Smuggler's Moon, that we always hear, like even Han talk about. So
yeah, the next story that follows this one is called Twilight. It doesn't have sparkling vampires in it at all, but it's called Twilight. It's 4 parts, and you can find it in the one of the omnibuses, the Menace Revealed Volume 2.
Okay. So everybody, if you want to follow along, I mean, this is not required because we can take and put this on screen and scroll through it and talk about scenes and stuff. But if you really want to dive back into these comics, do so. They are, I think this volume 2 is available to purchase as well if you don't have the series, because they're that you can get as well. If you haven't read these, then I suggest you go purchase them and put them in your collection, because I am finally collecting the comics pertaining to Star Wars, and I'm finding some of them are very hard to find right now. So I would jump up.
Yeah, the first volumes are tough to find. Volume 2 and 3, for the most part of things, are still easy to find.
Exactly. And, so I do have just now 11 people, so I did dwindle down, and I thank you guys all for being here. Again, share with me what you like about the comic here. Let us know if you read it before. Again, we are reviewing Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader next week, Thursday. The time may change, the date may change, so stay tuned. Stig and I will let you guys know. And then we might have a guest or two with us as well. So if you haven't reviewed Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader, I suggest you pick up the book. A great read. Also, the audiobook, it's unabridged, so it has a lot of plot points in it, but there are some scenes that are cut out because it's unabridged. But I suggest that, if you want to participate, you don't need to necessarily read it, but that's the whole point of this, is pick up the book, read it, so that we can interact with you guys in the chat as well and discuss and further the lore behind Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader. So let me see here. Let me see what's going on here. I'll have to bust into some boxes now. Yes, bring out your comics. Bring them out. Now's a great time to review the original EU lore. Does it have shiny Jedi in it? Talking about Twilight. OG taking her first steps into a larger comic world. Yes, I am. And like I said, I've never fully got into the comics, more of the novels. And so this is fun to get into. And again, like I said, I've been nerding out on it like crazy, and Stig knows a lot about that. All right, Rose Tico would want to free those ACK dogs. Set them free. The hut brain is somewhere else. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and conclude it here. Thank you for giving your review on this and your rating when it comes to this. I agree. It's a comic that sets up a lot more into the story for later stories, including Legacy. So, a lot of these comics, for even Al-Sharad Het, sets up his path towards Legacy, which I think is brilliant. So somewhere down the line, we will review Legacy comics as well. And I can't wait to get into that one. That's going to be fun. So thank you guys so much for participating and in chat and listening to our review and going over this comics as well. Like I said, next Thursday, we will have the literature review. And then the following Thursday, we will come back into the comics and the lore and all that for the regular coffee chat. So please, please, please pick up Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader, and follow along with us. I will be, talking about it on Twitter as well. So Stig, where can they find you?
Oh, I'm on Twitter, and I have a tiny YouTube channel that I don't really care that much about. Usually you can find me on YouTube channels talking with YouTubers about stuff. So that's it.
So please, join, subscribe to him. You'll enjoy his content as well. Casperius, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate your contribute to the channel. I'm always thankful for that. Thank you for coming in. If you're just coming in right now, we are now ending the coffee chat. So I apologize. Yes, he was in the Clone Wars. Sorry, a little bit late in. Yes. Thank you for coming in as well. So again, you could find me on my on Twitter, chatting about Star Wars and stuff. You could find me here. I will have some more videos coming out. I apologize that nothing had happened this week. I had some technical difficulties going on with my laptop. So, I do have editing programs for my videos that I use on my laptop. So that kind of hindered that. Stay tuned. I will have Dark Forces coming on as part of the lore. I will discuss and go break down that. Then I'll have a compare and contrast between Dark Forces and Rogue One, and that's going to be fun. And I stand with this stance. The reason why people like Rogue One, because it's a remake of Dark Forces, and I stand on that statement. So you guys will hear more of that later on as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Coffee Chat. I appreciate every single one of you, and may you guys have a great day. May the Force be with you.
Take care.